Hey guys, it's Eric here at Farpoint Restorations. Check it out. I bought this 2018 Mitsubishi Mirage in April of 2019. That makes it 5 years old, and I figured it was time to give a 5-year update on the worst car sold in America. It is the exact opposite of what you were led to believe by paid shills. In fact, I would consider this to be the best car sold in America right now. And in another video, I will go over why I feel that is. But for this video, let's focus on this car. And I wanted to talk to you about the things that I've enjoyed, the one or two things that I have not enjoyed, and all of the happiness that it's brought me. First of all, this was a very inexpensive car right out of the gate, and I expected it to act like an inexpensive car. I have been extremely pleased to find out that it doesn't act like a very inexpensive car. Instead, it has acted like a very competent car on the highway, in the mountains, on long trips, on short commutes, and everywhere in between. In fact, it's a very modern feeling car. It has a good riding suspension, not too hard, not too soft. It is certainly no sports car, but it is also not as underpowered as you may have been led to believe by those paid shills. In fact, it has 80 horsepower, just shy of it, and that is plenty when tied to a CVT, which can maximize the revs and make sure that you're in the power band pretty much anywhere you are. This vehicle gets 43 to 46 miles to the gallon. On some trips, I've cleared 50 miles to the gallon. That is outrageously good. And I did that with a very simple, non-hybrid, non-electric, just easy maintenance engine. And that is, I think, probably the shiningest part of this car. The modern Geo Metro, that's what you're looking at right here. If Geo had made a car, you know, if they were still around, if Suzuki was still making cars here in the US, they would have hopefully had something along the lines of this. This has just been a great little ride. Reliability, I have had to do absolutely nothing other than routine maintenance. I replaced the tires at 25,000. I replaced the cabin filter at 15,000 and the air filter and cabin filter at 30,000. I did the CVT transmission fluid flush at 20,000, and I've done 5,000 mile oil changes. I have also replaced wiper blades. No bulbs have gone out. No brakes have needed to be done. No suspension has needed to be done. No engine work has needed to be done. The drive belt is original. The spark plugs are original. There are no oil leaks. There are no transmission leaks. There are no water leaks. It just works. It gets up and goes every day, and it does so without complaints. All the windows motors are still working. Door lock motors are still working. Mirror motors are still working. Climate control is still working. Haven't had to do any work on heat or AC. So I would say that this is a really safe and reliable car. Let me get the camera off the tripod here. I'll take you for a walk around, show you all the little features this car has if you're not familiar with the Metro, with the Mirage. And I'll tell you about the only two things I don't like about this. Let's do it. All right, the first thing I really like about this car is its looks. I think the refresh that it's got in 2017 up through 2020, I think that's a good looking front end on this car. The original was kind of cute. This one's kind of a little bit aggressive, and the 2021 refresh that is now in its third year is a little too angular for me, but my wife likes it more. So you'll have to let me know. Here's the original style. Here's this one, of course, and here is the 21 refresh. You tell me which one you like the most. Now, I did add fog lights to this. It didn't come with it from the factory. Those came off of eBay, and they were like 50 bucks. Really easy procedure to get those in there. I think I have a video on it if you're interested in adding those to yours. Body-wise, the paint is holding up extremely well. I have tried really hard to keep it clean and wash it and wax it. It is dirty right now. It's been about 2 weeks, but today's the first day of sunlight that we've had in a while. It's been kind of a rainy week here. So tires, still plenty of tread left on the replacement set. I did replace the original style hubcaps with these cheap ones off of Amazon. You can see the paint's flaking a little bit, but I like the look of those a lot better than the originals. Now, we don't carry passengers too much, but on the few occasions that I've had passengers in the back seat, none have complained too much about that. It's more for children, but you can stuff an adult in there if you want to. It does have the rear camera on this, which is a nice feature. I don't particularly use that feature myself, but my wife does. She loves the backup camera. I guess I just spent too many years turning around looking behind me to get used to that, so I haven't. Trunk space wise, or this is a hatchback, so a lot of utility to have that. And you can see it's got a nice cover here that hides what's going on in the trunk if you want to carry groceries. I do have the Rockford Fosgate amp and subwoofer kit add-on to this, and so that does take up a little bit of room, but not terrible. I mean, you still stuff groceries in here, and you can stack stuff up on top of it. Also, when you fold these seats down, I'll show you here, when you fold the seats forward and they flop forward, they actually sit at the same height as the Fosgate amp, so it creates more of a flat space, honestly. So that's kind of cool. I did take the seat headrests off just so I have a little better rear view visibility. That was one thing that I didn't like right out of the gate, was that there was very little visibility with those headrests in place, so I removed those. But like I said, we're not carrying passengers too much. I did get this rear sill cover from Mitsubishi, and that has been a lifesaver, because you pull stuff off, and if you drag it across there, it would scratch the paint. This is taking care of that, and it's held up really well, so I've been happy with that. Like I said, no lights have gone out. I have replaced the rear wiper once and the front wipers twice. I did add this CB antenna to mine, and so in order to do that, I had to get a shorter main antenna, but that doesn't really change the look of the car at all. Interior's held up really well. I do put a carpet or a towel down on mine, and but the seats and the door panels and everything else, the cloth is held up extremely well. No complaints there. I did also add the little door sills just to keep scuff marks on the paint there. Those were also from Mitsubishi. You can accessorize your Mirage with Mitsubishi online parts. It's pretty amazing. The front is, I love it. It's just a really great little car. Power locks, power windows, little space to put stuff. There's also a cup holder there, and of course a speaker in the door. Go ahead and hop in. And here's what we got. 29,920 miles on it. That's pretty low for a 5-year-old car, but I drive my vintage pickup truck an awful lot, and I do a lot of farm work, so I'm always driving the truck. So it's kind of a 50-50 mix. I have 2 cars, so it has about half the mileage a 5-year-old car should have, because I'm splitting it between 2 cars. That makes sense. Infotainment system, awesome, love it. It does have a DVD and CD player here, which is a really nice feature. You can watch movies while you're parked. You can watch or listen to music while you're rolling. It also plays MP3s, so if you put a DVD full of MP3s in there, you're talking about hours and hours of music. Then also down here, it has a USB port, so you can plug a USB into it with music on it, or you can see I've got it run, and I have a little pouch right here for my cell phone, and then it has Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, so you can use maps and stream apps, I guess, on that if you wanted to. YouTube Music is on there as well. So this thing is really full featured. I'll say the radio itself, the built-in radio, pretty good AM reception. I don't know about FM because I don't really listen to FM, but AM reception on this has been, I've been pleased with it. Manual climate controls. I opted to get a model that didn't have automatic climate controls because I just wanted to be able to move this stuff around without having to look down. And so that has been nice. Also less problems going down the road. I imagine not having electric servos, just having a cable. Big glove box. That thing is honker. It's got a lot of space there. And of course the passenger seat and its passenger door also have that cubby. Now I did add these seat covers from Incheon. They're really nice. In fact, I got some compliments on those. So that people thought that the Mirage came with leather. Not quite, it's pleather. But I like the stitching on it, and they've held up. This is year 3 or 4 with these, and they've held up really well. I did get this center console off of Amazon. There's a cup holder. It sits down into that. You put a single screw into it, and then I got this foam padding, and it's perfect. Right height, right place. You can also slide it forward or tilt it. So it just really helps when you're on long drives. CVT, a lot of people don't like CVT transmissions. This is the first car I purposely bought with an automatic transmission. Certainly the first car I've ever bought with CVT. I've been very pleased with it. This is a Jayco CVT transmission, which in Nissans gives a lot of problems. But in this vehicle, which is much, much lighter than any of the Nissan products, this is it works really well. And I mean, it gets incredible gas mileage. I have on some highway trips gotten 50 miles to the gallon, so not bad. You can abuse it and it gets 43. You can baby it, it gets 46. You can nurse it and it gets 48 to 50. So I mean, it's hard to argue with that. It does have 2 cup holders, although there is a space here that you kind of have to slide them in and out of, so that's a little bit tighter. I thought about putting a CB right there, And instead I've ended up with this Cobra 75 all-road, which just kind of tucks down in the side here because this stays out of the way. If I mounted anything right here, it would cut into the space that I have to get cups or drinks in and out. Steering, this does have the full Bluetooth and all that stuff, so you can control your tracks and your volume, and then your phone stuff. And when in Android Auto mode, you press that button, you can do voice commands. Cruise control on this works really well as well. And there's your little microphone for voice commands right up there. And then over here, traction control. This car does have traction control, which is a nice modern feature. Also, it does have power mirrors, so pretty nice. The only other add-on inside here is I did get the optional outdoor full weather mats, and you can see they're kind of dirty, need to be washed. But this is great in the wintertime, not tracking muck and stuff into the carpeting where it could soak through and start rusting your car from the inside out. Let me go ahead and pop the hood. And here is the engine compartment. This is where the money's at. This is a very durable engine. I find it to be very refined. It's got a nice little tone to it. It doesn't shake the whole car violently. So the motor mounts, even though they're just rubberized motor mounts, actually I think that one might be hydraulic up there, but the other two are just rubber mounts. Keeps the vibrations down, keeps the noise level down in the car. Some of the complaints you see online talk about this car being too loud. I am deaf, but or not 100% deaf, but partially deaf. So I haven't had a problem with it. But when my wife drives hers and drives with me in this one, she hasn't ever complained that it was too noisy. So I guess, I don't know. I don't really notice any difference in the noise volume of this car versus any other car I've ever owned. Easy to maintain. Air filters right up on top. Cabin filters easy to get to. Oil changes are simple on this, and it only takes 3 quarts. So your overall cost of ownership with this car is going to be super low. Battery, haven't had any issues with that. So nice little simplistic engine. Doesn't burn any oil, which is a big issue with modern cars. This engine is part of the older generation, and so it is. It's still hanging in there. All right, so is there anything I would change about this car if I could design it myself? The answer is yes. There's 2 things that I would change. Having owned this car for 5 years, those 2 things are, number 1, the gas tank. It is a small gas tank. It's either 8.8 or 8.2 gallons. It's a very small tank. And so even with 40 miles to the gallon, 40 plus, I find myself having to fill up once a week. I don't like that. I'd like to fill up once every 2 weeks. If it had a 12-gallon tank, I could easily get 2 weeks out of it, but I do 45 miles round trip every day. And so, you know, it's a gallon every day. I don't let my car get down to absolute empty. It's not good for the fuel pump. So I'm filling it up once a week on Fridays. That's not the end of the world, but it would be nice if it had a larger gas tank. Of course, I don't know where they'd stuff it on this, but 12 gallons would be better than 8. And the last thing is the driver's seat and the passenger front seat. They're a little bit firm, and they lack a little bit of lower back padding. If I could do it all over again, if I could find a better seat for it, that would be the only other thing. The car is fine for daily commutes. It's good for up to about 4 hours. You get up past 4 hours, and your lower back starts to hurt a little bit, or your butt starts to hurt from sitting on the extra firm padding. Now that's part of it being an economy car, but I will say that back in the day, you look at your Chevette, and you look at the Cavalier and stuff like that, which were also economy cars, those cars had better padding. So I think that Mitsubishi, if they're going to redesign this one more time or to give it another refresh, maybe they put the money into a little bit better seat, and that would really, really help this car sell, I believe. Anyway, that's it. It's my 5-year review of the Mitsubishi Mirage. This is a 2018, but this review basically covers anywhere from 2012 up to 2025. They're all excellent, excellent automobiles, and you'd be lucky to own one, my friends. Till next time, take care.